You've watched it happen more times than you can count. Someone you love is going through something hard. You can see it in their face, in the weight they're so clearly carrying. So you offer to help, and they say the same thing they always say. I'm fine. I've got it. Don't worry about me. This is a person who would drop everything for you, who helps everyone. But when it's their turn to need something, they vanish behind a wall, and you find out later they went through it completely alone. And if you're honest, it hurts. After a while, it starts to feel personal. Do they not trust me? Am I not close enough? Why won't they just let me in? So let me tell you something that might change how you see them entirely. Their silence has almost nothing to do with you. What's really happening runs far deeper. And once you understand it, you'll finally know what actually helps. Let's start by naming what you've probably decided it means. That they're stubborn, that they're too proud, that they're pushing you away on purpose, that they just don't want to depend on anyone, including you. But none of those are the real story. Because this isn't a choice they're making against you, it's a survival strategy, one that was installed in them long before you ever arrived. Here's the truth most people never learn about the ones who can't ask for help. Somewhere early in their life, they learned that needing help was not safe. That reaching out didn't bring comfort. It brought disappointment or dismissal or the feeling of being a burden. So their mind did something intelligent and protective. It stopped reaching. It learned to go quiet, to self-soothe, to handle everything alone, because alone was the one place that never let them down. So when they refuse your help now, they are not rejecting you. They're running a program that's older than your relationship, older than they can probably remember. Their nervous system is protecting them from a danger that, with you, no longer exists. It just doesn't know that yet. Read that again, because it reframes everything. They're not shutting you out because they don't need you. They're shutting the need down before it can reach you, because a long time ago, needing someone is exactly what hurt them most. To really understand what you're looking at, we have to go back to where all of this begins, because the ability to ask for help isn't something we're born knowing. It's something we learn in our very first relationships. Psychologists call it attachment. As children, every time we reached out in distress, crying, calling, needing, we learned something about what happens next. For some children, reaching out reliably brought comfort, and they absorbed a quiet, lifelong lesson. Needs are safe, people show up, it's okay to depend on someone. But for others, it went differently. Maybe their needs were met with irritation or silence. Maybe the adults around them were overwhelmed, unpredictable, or simply not there. Maybe they were told, directly or not, to stop crying, toughen up, handle it themselves. And a child in that situation is far too small to change the people around them, so they change themselves instead. They adapt. They learn to deactivate the need, to stop reaching, to turn inward, to become their own only source of comfort. The psychologist John Bowlby had a precise name for what this hardens into: compulsive self-reliance. Not independence by choice, but an inability to depend, worn like armor. From the outside, it can look like strength, competence, having it all together. On the inside, it's a child who decided, long ago, that the only person they could ever truly count on was themselves. And this doesn't fade with age. Attachment researchers describe it as a deactivating strategy. The moment a need starts to rise, their mind automatically shuts it down, before it reaches the surface, before it ever reaches you. It isn't conscious, it isn't personal, it's reflex. So hold on to this, because it's the foundation of everything that follows. This is an adaptation, not a flaw. The wall you keep running into was built by a younger version of them who needed it to survive. It kept them safe once. It simply doesn't know its job is finished. Quick pause, just for a second. If this is already helping you understand someone you love a little differently, then you're exactly who this channel is for. This is where we quietly decode the things about people that no one else ever explains. Tap subscribe to Unfelt and stay with me, because what comes next is the part that actually helps. Now let's go beneath the silence and look at what's actually happening inside someone who can't ask for help. Because it isn't one thing, it's several, layered on top of each other. First, to them, receiving help doesn't feel like relief. It feels like weakness. When you're helped, you feel lighter. When they're helped, they often feel something closer to shame. There's research on exactly this, on how people react to receiving aid. Being helped can actually threaten a person's sense of their own competence and worth, especially when their entire identity is built on being the capable one, the strong one, the one who never needs anyone. To them, accepting help can feel like an admission. I'm failing. I'm weak. I've lost the one thing that keeps me safe. So they refuse, not because they don't need it, but because needing it costs them something you can't see. You've probably watched this in the smallest ways. They'll spend 3 hours struggling with something alone rather than make one phone call. They'll do it themselves, badly and exhausted, and wave you off with "it's easier if I just handle it." What looks like them being difficult is actually them protecting the only self-image that has ever felt safe, the one who never has to be rescued. Second, they believe deep down that their needs are a burden. This layer is quieter and sadder. Many of these people carry a belief they would never say out loud, that their pain is an inconvenience, that if they let anyone see how much they're struggling, they'd become too much and be left. So they do the math early, and they choose silence. They'd rather carry it alone than risk being the weight that tips someone else over. When they say, "Don't worry about me," they often mean it literally. They're trying to spare you the burden of them. It isn't that they don't want your help, it's that some part of them doesn't believe they're allowed to take it. You can hear it in how they talk about their own pain. They downplay everything. It's not a big deal. Other people have it worse. They apologize for taking up space. They thank you far too much for the smallest kindness, as if your care were a debt they now owe. That's not humility. That's a person who learned to make themselves small enough to never be a burden and never quite unlearned it. Third, control is how they feel safe. If someone grew up in a world that felt unpredictable, where they couldn't rely on the people or circumstances around them, then doing everything themselves became the one thing that couldn't be taken away. Self-reliance for them isn't just a habit, it's safety itself. Handling it alone means never being disappointed, never being let down, never being caught off guard again. So when they refuse your help, understand what you're really asking of them, not just to accept a favor, but to loosen their grip on the one thing that has kept the ground steady under their feet their whole life. You might notice they hate surprises. They need to know the plan. They over-prepare for everything, brace for the worst, keep a quiet contingency for every situation. To you, it can look like control for its own sake. To them, it's the opposite of the chaos they once lived in, and handing any of it to someone else can feel like stepping off solid ground into open air. Fourth and deepest, many of them were the strong one far too early. So many people who can't ask for help were the ones doing the helping before they were ready. The child who took care of a struggling parent, the kid who became the responsible one, the peacemaker, the quiet emotional support for adults who should have been supporting them. Psychologists call this parentification. When a child is handed a caregiver's role too soon, being the strong one stops being something they do, it becomes who they are. And so being cared for as an adult doesn't feel comforting. It feels foreign, even threatening, because if they're not the one holding everything up, they don't know who they are. You probably see it everywhere in how they live now. They're the one everyone calls in a crisis. They give extraordinary advice and never take it themselves. They can sit with your worst day without flinching, but go completely silent about their own. They've been the strong one for so long that strength stopped being a choice and became the only role they know how to play. Put all four together, and the truth comes into focus. The silence you've been reading as strength is, from the inside, one of the loneliest experiences there is. Always holding. Never held. Trusted by everyone, and somehow alone with all of it. So here's the question you've really been asking this whole time. What do you actually do? How do you help someone who will never, ever ask? Let's start with what not to do, because it's what most people try first. You cannot force this. Pushing them, pressuring them, getting frustrated, turning it into a confrontation, "Why won't you just let me in?" does the exact opposite of what you want. To them, it confirms the old fear, that their needs create conflict, that being seen leads to pressure, that letting someone close means losing control. Every time you push, the wall goes higher. Not because they don't love you, but because you've accidentally triggered the very alarm the wall was built to answer. What actually works is slower and quieter and far more powerful. You don't tear the wall down. You become the one safe place they eventually choose to lower it, and that is built, not forced. Here's how you build it. Be consistent, because safety isn't proven in one big conversation, it's proven over time, in 100 small moments where you don't disappoint them. Offer help that's specific, small, and comes with no strings, not let me know if you need anything, which they will never take, but I'm bringing you dinner on Tuesday, something concrete they don't have to ask for, and stop taking the walls personally, because they were built long before you, for reasons that were never about you. But here's the part almost no one understands, the real key. The way in isn't to give them more, it's to let them give to you. Think about it. Someone who cannot receive care can almost always still give it. Giving is the safe side of connection, the side they've lived on their entire life. So let them help you. Let them see you need something and trust them to hold it. Because when you let this person care for you, you're doing two things at once. You're honoring the role that already feels safe to them, and you're quietly showing their nervous system something it has never believed. That need doesn't drive people away. That being leaned on is not a burden. That here, with you, the whole exhausting equation might finally be different. And it can be something small. Ask them to look over something you're working on. Let them fix the thing they're good at. Tell them about a problem and actually let them sit in it with you, instead of solving it yourself. Each time you let them give, you hand them proof that connection doesn't have to cost them control, that they can be close to you without being consumed. That proof is what lowers the wall, one quiet brick at a time. And give it time. Someone doesn't undo 20 or 30 years of self-protection because you were patient for a week. There will be days they let you in, and days they slam shut again for no reason you can see. That's not failure. That's the nervous system testing whether the safety is real. Your job isn't to win it in one moment. It's to keep being the same steady presence long enough that, eventually, they believe you. You are not going to fix them. That was never the goal. But you can be the first place where their silence slowly stops being necessary. So the next time someone you love goes quiet and carries it alone and tells you they're fine when you can both see that they're not, I hope you'll hear it differently now. It isn't that they don't trust you. It isn't that your love isn't landing. It's that your love is landing in a place that was taught, a long time ago, not to expect it. And that patient, steady, unforced love of yours, the kind that keeps showing up without pushing, is the exact thing that slowly, quietly rewrites the oldest lesson they carry. And one gentle thing for you too. Loving someone who can't ask for help can be lonely. You're allowed to need support of your own. You're allowed to have limits. Being someone's safe place was never meant to require disappearing yourself. And maybe that's the quiet hope in all of this. That one day, not because you forced it, but because you stayed, they'll come to you first. They'll let the sentence, "I'm fine," soften into the truth. They'll set down something heavy and let you carry a corner of it and feel the ground stay steady anyway. It won't happen all at once. It'll come in small, almost invisible moments, a door left open a little wider each time. And when it does, you'll know your patience was never wasted. It was the very thing that taught them they were safe enough, finally, to be human. And before you go, one last thought, because it reaches back further than any single relationship. This instinct to carry everything alone, to survive by relying only on yourself, is ancient. It's written into us by hundreds of thousands of years of ancestors who had to be relentlessly self-reliant just to make it through. But here's the other half of that story. Those same ancestors only survived because they also learned to lean on each other, to share the load, to need the people beside them. Humanity never made it this far alone. We made it together. If that older story pulls at you, there's a channel I want you to know, Back Times. It's a friend of this channel, and it's all about exactly that, how ancient humans actually survived, and the real history of where we came from. Go subscribe to Back Times and press the bell icon link is in the pinned comment. And if understanding the people you love, the way we did today, is what you've been quietly looking for, then you already know what this channel is. This is the mind beneath the silence, and we come here every week to explain the things no one else will slow down and sit with. Subscribe and stay. There's always more of them, and more of you, left to understand.